and we're in business. All right, awesome. Sorry about that. I was trying to get audio on, and it was just saying audio issues, audio issues. I can hear you now. Excellent, Drake. Happy birthday from Joe. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Terry's like, yay. Yeah, tell me about it. I hate when you get on these and you can't get on these. Kind of a bummer. But we're here. You guys are awesome. I'm awesome. We're all awesome together, so it works out just freaking fine. All right, so I'm going to share something with you guys today. Comes up all the time. And I'll tell you I'll tell you something I've learned. So this comes up a little as you cross 30 years old, more when you cross 40, and more anywhere north of 50. Okay? And Drake says, oh yeah, if it's your birthday, 50th. Yeah. Bam! 50 years old. And it doesn't bother me for a second. I'm trying to explain that to somebody this past week, and they're like, no, you're so full of it. I'm like, no, it doesn't bother me. I'm like a good wine. Just get better with time. It's all good, man. Seasoning. Late at the Texas Twins checking in. Betty, how are you doing? Good to see you here. So finding purpose. And I want to share something with you. Now, mind you, this is not written in stone, right? This is one man's opinion. Seeking out purpose, finding purpose in life, right? My real why. Because what I was saying is we get further along, we ask that question deeper and deeper. Or at least we feel the desire to know that answer at a deeper level. What's my real why? What's my real purpose? Why am I here? What's my calling? Whatever you want to call it, right? So I just want to share some insight with you on that, because I see a lot of people suffer over this. And you say, well, why do they suffer? Well, see, pain is a required part of life. Suffering is optional. Suffering is a man-made construct, something we do upon ourselves. Suffering kicks in when we feel that our life circumstances are in such a place now that we are no longer in control of our outcomes. That's when we feel that internal struggle, suffering. When we no longer feel we're in control of our outcomes. You know, this often comes up when, you know, way back when we had an image, a model of what life would look like at 30, at 40, at 50, at 70. Whatever, right? And then we reach that 50 years old or 40 years old or 30 years old, and our current life is not equal to that model that we had envisioned. That's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. A little pain created there, and that's okay too. Pain is good. Pain gets us to the truth. Pain gives us direction. But when we start believing falsely that there's nothing we can do about it, that's where we screw ourselves. That's where suffering kicks in. So this ain't about suffering. Just know that suffering is a man-made construct. Yes, pain gets us moving, Cheryl. It can also be a result of inaction to resolve the issue at hand. Yes, it can be, Drake. Absolutely. So what I'll share with you, though, is the dilemma we box ourselves into, not knowing our purpose, not knowing our why, and as a result of that, being unable, and here's really the consequence, to enjoy life at its fullest in the here and now. And that's the downside to getting stuck in this freaking endless circle of chasing our why. And you've heard me say this before, anything you chase runs. Anything you chase runs. The more you chase it, the more it runs. So you can't chase your purpose. Let's start out with a quick story. A buddy of mine that I went to college with, okay? Before he came to college, he did 4 years in the Marines. And he came to college, did 4 years in college with me. Then he went to OCS, and then he went into the Navy SEALs as an officer. Did 26 years as a Navy SEAL officer. Made it up to one rank below Admiral. And the only thing stopping him from ever getting the rank of Admiral was the fact that he went to a state college, didn't go to one of the academies, West Point or Annapolis. And it's just it is what it is. It's just how this stuff flows, right? So he's a good buddy of mine, you know, and you would think that he, being 4 years plus 4 years plus 1 year plus 26 years, as 35 years, would have been crystal clear on his calling, his purpose, his why, when in fact, it's not what you think it was. His purpose, his why, was not to be high-ranking Navy SEAL officer. It wasn't. That was nothing more than training for his bigger calling. And he didn't realize all this till afterwards. He and I had some deep discussions about this. But his real calling was to impact children. So all of that leading up to it, for one reason, practice, prepare him for what his bigger calling was. And that was his way to go about practicing. That's it. That's why he did that. Nothing more. Now you say, well, that may be a lot of practice for teaching kids. No, he's not teaching kids. He's impacting kids, human beings, for life. So he started these junior Navy SEAL camps. My son started going to them when he was in high school. Went through all 4 years of them, right? And now, since Neil's retired the Navy SEAL program and he has more time, he opened, he has 3 of these camps impacting kids. You get what I'm saying? So my point is, your purpose, your why, your calling is not finite. It's not one thing. It changes in time with us. Occasionally, someone will be dialed in right at the very beginning, and bam, they got it, right? Carry you right to the end. But that's rare. It's not normal. It's abnormal. Nothing wrong with that. That's not where most of us sit. We go through day to day. So, well, Pat, if that's the case, then what's the gig? The gig is very simple. You've heard it 1,000 times. Maybe you just never stopped to listen to it. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey to the destination. And the challenge is us Americans, the way we're brought up, the way we're programmed, all the BS beliefs that are piled into our head, they tell us, no, it ain't about the journey. It's about retirement, about the destination, it's about later. Now you suffer, later you enjoy life, and that's such a lie. People should go to jail for spewing that kind of crap. The magic is being able to enjoy life at its fullest right here, right now, in the present, along the journey. And in doing so, you will attract your purpose. You'll no longer be chasing your purpose. Few things have to happen, though, in order for that to happen. First, you have to refocus on it, meaning get your head out of, I got to know my why. That's BS. That's a lie. You've got to know how to pursue your why. You've got to be in the process of learning about your why. And I can give you 3 very simple qualifiers how to go about that. Now, we're not all at liberty to do exactly what we want to do. I fully get that. But we work towards this, right? The more we can come in congruent with these 3 things, the more likely it is to steer us towards our purpose, our why. I'm going to tell you the why. I'm going to tell you why your why is not achievable. I'll tell you that in a second. 3 things are simple. You've heard them before, right? Start choosing to do things that you really genuinely love to do. Don't worry about your why or purpose. Just what do you love to do here and now? Number 1. Number 2, do things that you're very good at. These are 2 filters so far. Things that you love to do, things that you're very good at. And the third one, and this is the one that brings it out bigger than us, do things that bring tremendous, impactful value to the greater universe at large. Now, if we can start participating in activities that we love to do, that we're really good at, and brings a tremendous amount of value to the universe will reciprocate in massive reward. Quite honestly, that's how we're rewarded by the universe. We attract money into our lives based on the amount of value we bring to the universe. No value, no dollars. Tremendous value, tremendous dollars. And there's some scenarios where that formula is breached, no doubt. I mean, Hollywood actors are a prime example of them. As an example, the value they bring versus the return and reward is disproportionate, as an example, and there's many others as well, right? If we're not worried about anybody else, we're worried about us anyway, so who gives a crap about them? Kind of makes sense? Okay. Let me share with you now. You may not like what I'm going to say, okay? I'm going to share with you 3 things that interrupt this whole process. You know, you go back when you're 8 years old, you woke up in the morning, you didn't know, woke up and said, what's my why? You woke up and there was already a drive, a spirit, a passion, a purpose. And you want whatever you wanted to focus on that day, your ends, you went for it. You didn't think twice about your means to get there. Today as adults, we think just the opposite. I'd love to have this, but all of these things are in the way and I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not badass enough, I don't have enough money, I'm too old, I'm too young, whatever. We figure out means that aren't enough to get to our ends. We can't go after that. Tuck ourselves right out of it. Let me share something with you. Some of you have seen this before. Very simple. Get you on screen here. All right. Draw here. Shirley, you know this. This right here is called our capacity. Our ability to achieve, our ability to do. This is us, right? It's also known as our comfort zone. Out beyond, way beyond, here, off the screen, is our spirit. Our spirit is our passion, our drive, that thing on the inside of us, right? That we're seeking now as adults. But we had it as a child. We had it as a child. What happens over time? Our spirit constantly, excuse me, tugging at us to pull outside of our comfort zone. As a child, we're like, I'm in, we move it out here. I'm in, I move it out here. I'm in, I move it out here. We have this new capacity. That's how we learn, grow, expand. That's why our learning curve is so big as children, because we don't say no, we just keep doing. But what happens is adults, we start thinking too much. Start figuring out why we shouldn't. Fears come in. We start fearing things like, oh, what might she say? Or what if I fail? Or what if I lose? Or what's the tribe going to think? We get scared. We let that fear overpower our spirit. But there becomes a great resistance then. Resistance it sucks. It doesn't feel good. So you know what we do? We cower to our fear. We crawl back into our little zone here, a comfort zone, and we anesthetize our spirit. We put it out. Like taking a fire extinguisher to a fire. How do you do that? We would distract over it. And there's a million ways to distract. Sometimes it's picking up activities that are just normal and outside of our character. It can be stupid little things. Anything to distract from having to deal with that. And once we make it go away, you don't feel it anymore. No more resistance. We can just sit like, I don't know, cowards inside our capacity, inside our comfort zone. Then one day we wake up and we miss it. We miss that passion, that purpose, that knowing why you exist. Past our 30s, past our 40s, past our 50s, and we feel it. And it's starting to come alive again. Not the spirit, because we can't find it, but the void it left behind. That's the challenge. So Pat, good, get it. So the challenge, what I'm gonna get you to refocus on here is not about finding your purpose. It's about reigniting your spirit. Because you do that, the rest falls into place. Because now you go on a lifelong journey seeking your purpose by participating in things that are incompliant with your spirit, because your spirit tells you what to do next, just as it did as a child, until we cut it off. And we start doing things that we want to do, love to do, really good at, and bring great, tremendous value to the universe, instead of doing stuff that we just think we should be doing. What happens along the way? Now, I can't get too deep into this, and some of you may object to it anyways, but that's cool, okay? I will tell you there's 3 life events that in some way we experience. One is when we're younger, we need a profession. And when we seek our profession, rarely is it sought by qualifying it the way I did. What do I love to do? What I'm really good at? What brings great, tremendous value to the universe? We do it the other way around. What is safe and secure? So dollars and security. So already we're off base. Already we're offline. Already we're creating resistance between who we are meant to be and how we're living our lives. Second one, and I know not everybody's married, but this relationship affects us in some way, shape, or form. I'll just call it marriage. Because marriage is taught the wrong way. Marriage is taught to compromise. So, hey, listen, you have two people that are unique human beings. You will be different. You will not always agree. When that doesn't happen, or when that happens, you don't agree, compromise. Shrink yourself to the lowest common denominator. Whoever thought that was a good idea? Are you kidding me? Versus, there'll be times you don't disagree. Embrace the difference. Encourage each other to grow into the human beings you are meant to be and grow together. You can grow together and be different at the same damn time. Instead, we're taught to compromise and conform and shrink. And that steals a part of who we're meant to be. And it's not your spouse's fault or your fault. It's how we're taught about marriage. And then third, right, it's just Father Time. This takes a big part of our spirit. This takes a big part of our spirit, and this one just kicks us square in the ass. At some point we wake up, we're like, man, I thought my life was going to be different at this age. But it's not now. I got to focus on, let's say you built a business. I know a lot of people who built businesses, they're 40, 50, 60 years old, businesses make a ton of money, but guess what? Their life sucks. Because it takes every waking moment of their time. Their life sucks. So what do they think they have to do? They think they have to do more to fix it. They continue to suck, and that steals what's left of the spirit. Or they got to a place in life and they're not in a financial place. They thought they were supposed to be at 45 years old, so they think now they just got to throw everything aside and go after more money, chase more money, chase more money. Forget about what I like to do, what I love doing, what brings great value to the universe. Chase more money. And that just puts a freaking final spear through their heart. Get it? Get how this gets away from us? And the challenge here, the further we get from our calling, the quicker all that we want runs from us. That's the sketchy part. Now, I know not all of you have those life experiences that get that, but in some way, shape, or form, those three things shape us to who we are today. It's the American way. Why do you think we have such high levels of obesity in our lives, and drinking issues, and cancer in the United States, unlike any other developed country in the world? So what's going on here? As a function of all of that. So I was driving out to Colorado 2 years ago with my son. And the question he asked me along, it was a really awkward ride because it was really sad, you know. He's leaving home. He's going big here. 32-hour drive away. And he asked me a question. When is enough enough? When is enough enough? I'm going to end this little dissertation on this. Slow down so I could look him square and I said, Patrick, I'm going to say something. It may not make sense at first, but let me explain. Enough is never enough. Enough is never enough. Now, some of you may be saying right now to yourself, that's greedy. That's greedy. You say, no, let me explain. We have God-given tools and talents, unlike anyone else, all unique to each individual, right? And we have a ruthless desire to grow, to become more, always, without exception, to the day we die. And between those two, we have an obligation, a responsibility to constantly grow, expand, create. We have to understand why and how. you become more so that you can do more. In doing more, you can have more. The only reason to have more, once our stuff is taken care of, is so that we can give more and make a bigger impact while we're here on this earth. And anyone who steps down from that is doing an injustice, disrespecting all that's been given to them along the way. This whole concept of, I'm going to retire. Retire for what? So you can do what? Come on. Life's bigger than that. And I know for a fact, we're just down the marina this weekend. I'll give you two little marina stories. This weekend, the boaters next to me, the gentleman's 77 years old, running a 55-foot boat with his wife on his own, going out to Newport for the entire week. Why? Because he can. Why? Because he ain't dying. Why? Because he still has a business and he doesn't mind working it. Because he knows the second he stops, he'll stop. We're out in Montauk last weekend, and we're at a small marina that we frequent regularly. And it's a couple that runs a marina. They do it all. When you pull in, man, they're there taking your dock lines. He is 88 years old. You never guess it. More life than a lot of people I know at 50 years old. Because he realizes, man, if he stops, he'll stop. His job is to keep creating, as is our job. Enough is never enough. It's our job to always create, to grow, to expand, to be, to do, to have, to give. That's how the system works. Last piece here. In order to seek out your purpose at the highest level, in order to get fully engaged in the journey, right? Two things have to happen. One, this carries on the thought, enough is never enough, but that only works when you're absolutely, positively, genuinely grateful for where you are now and always wanting more. Grateful for all that you have and don't have and always wanting to create. Absolutely, genuinely grateful. Because if you can't be grateful now for what you have, you can't be grateful for what you think you want. It doesn't work that way. And the second part is this. Opening up your mind to the fact that we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. See, when we're young, we knew we didn't know what we didn't know. We just kept learning ruthlessly. But somewhere in our teens and 20s, we were like, oh, I know it all. We stopped learning. In our 30s, like, oh, I'm smart now. I'm 30 years old. I know what I know and I know what I don't know. No, you're still a dumbass. And it's not until we get in our 40s, sometimes in our 50s or later, we finally realize, man, I'm back at ground zero. I don't know what I don't know. But the second you go there, you open yourself up to ruthless learning. You challenge your beliefs. Many of our beliefs, all a belief is a little piece of software embedded in our brain, put in way back when, oftentimes without our permission, as we're children, through adult figures, teachers, parents, whatever they were. And they're wrong. We have software running in the background that's wrong. Challenge it. Challenge it all. You may find that, no, this one's perfectly good. Keep it. This one sucked. And I want to punch whoever gave it to me. Boot it. Instill a new belief. But don't sit there thinking that you got all the answers. Because that keeps you in that tiny little, you can call it your comfort zone, you can call it your capacity zone, I'll call it your coward zone. Call it what it is. Miss Terry, keep going to the next thing, no matter how big or small, even the items we may think are small could be very big for those we impact or touch on our journey. The moment we stop growing is the day we begin to expire. That is absolutely positively true. I love these Monday Mindset calls. This is from Mr. Joe. Since attending, participating in these weekly meetings in combination with the Extra Info podcast, plus training Pat provides, has extremely helped me in all areas of my integrity, will, and life. Good info, man. Keep up the great work. Thanks, man. You know, you get the credit, Joe. I'm just a messenger. All I do is message. Mr. Drake, and teach to others the difference to enrich their lives. I teach multiple income streams at a couple of the local junior colleges. Awesome. Becoming an entrepreneur, like you stated, what you love, a hobby and your dream. Absolutely. I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got for you today. So I encourage you, man, Run with this. If you got to hear this video again, go back and listen to it. Don't get hung up on worrying about what your purpose is. Focus on getting in the proper zone of learning, expanding the journey, and embrace the journey, the highs and lows and everything in between. Pat, I'm starting my next 8-week health class, but I'm feeling a little impatient trying to get more people. Keep pushing, Cheryl. Put it out there. Speak loud and clear. Don't worry about impatience. Miss Sadina, thanks for the encouragement. You're very welcome. Andrew, you're very welcome too. And Cheryl, you have a great day. Guys are awesome, man. Peace. And sorry about the slow start there. Peace.